The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shishina Wool. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, industrial discord appears to be brewing between a major union and the government. A strike poll was held throughout the country on Friday by the officers mandated to safeguard our port of entry. John Davis Roll has our top story.
It's not a fight, but it's sometimes you got to do what you got to do when you know you're right, when the law is on your side.
Officials of the Bahamas Customs and Immigration Allied Workers Union say they are on a mission to secure their rights. This is 130 members of the union were eligible to participate in Friday's poll. According to President of the union, Shanakan Wilson, and Vice President Rudolph Stubbs, there are three main bones of contention, among them insurance coverage for all employees.
Insurance for the non-uniform personnel that's in both departments. They don't enjoy the benefits that we do when it comes to the insurance. So that is one of the main reasons why we're here today to have the strike poll. Not what I'm hearing in the media that because we lost a ruling or something that we're having this, but we were supposed to have this from last year. We still had a court case pending, so we waited until the court case was finished before we did it.
When it comes to utility costs, when officers are transferred to the Family Islands, and the Department of Public Service is responsible for the relocation of all personnel in the public service and to ensure that their housing accommodations is taken care of. Therefore, we also file a trade dispute in reference to that because the officers, when they are transferred, they have to find the necessary funds for first and last rent, utilities, etc. And that is a serious burden on those officers. Yes, over the many years, because of overtime, the officers never worried about it. They paid out of their pockets. But now, the game has changed.
Then there's the issue of the transportation allowance.
We know that headquarters is the normal place of work that officers would report to, and then they are sent to the outstations. So therefore, there's a distance that they have to travel, and even after being sent to the outstations, then that means there's a longer distance when they have to travel from home to those outstations. So therefore, they ought to be compensated for transportation mileage allowance because it is allowed there in general orders.
Meanwhile, this top union executive says he would like the union to be treated with respect as they move to protect the rights of its members.
They tell us they want us to come out and negotiate, sit at the table and negotiate. But when we reach the table, to the table, it's almost like they dictate to us. We had an industrial proposal drawn up, made up. They took it, threw it in the garbage, and came back to us with another proposal, which is the BPSU's agreement. Took the name off where it says BPSU, put it Bahamas Customs Immigration Allied Workers Union, and even in some instances, in that same proposal, still had the BPSU name in it. So I guess they didn't want us to have better than what the BPSU was getting.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Now, Labor Minister Shane Gibson says he believes the request for a strike certificate is the union's response to a judge's ruling Friday that overtime is discretionary, contrary to the union's submission that overtime should be converted to wages. Mr. Gibson, who's out of the country attending CARICOM talks, told ZNS News that the union has already been told that requests for salary increases cannot be honored given the state of the economy. Meantime, Minister Gibson says the government has already placed a defense force on standby should the force be needed to man customs and immigration posts. Well, police hauling a 21-year-old Hudson Estates resident before the court today for last Sunday's fatal nightclub shooting. Javaro Davis is accused of the shooting death of Amado Rule of Custard Apple Street, Piners Loop. Davis appeared before Deputy Chief Magistrate Helen Jones in court number 3 on the charge of murder. He was not allowed to enter a plea, and a preliminary inquiry into this matter will commence on the 3rd of June. He was represented by attorney Simeon Brown and was remanded to Her Majesty's Prison in New Providence. Rowe was shot in the upper body at a nightclub on Queens Highway in the early morning hours on Sunday. He died in hospital several hours later. Police reporting a homicide over on the island of Bimini. Reports say shortly before 7 this morning, police were told that a Caucasian male was found lying on the grounds of a hotel in Bimini who appeared lifeless. The man, believed to be a visitor to the island, had an apparent stab wound to the body and was pronounced dead by the doctor from the Bimini clinic. Officers from the Central Detective Unit out of Grand Bahama are in Bimini tonight investigating the fatal stabbing. Police say 4 Caucasian males are in custody, assisting police with the investigation. And also from Bimini, drugs discovered on board a local mail boat on that island. Police tell us that around noon yesterday, officers from the Allenstown station searched the local mail boat docked at South Bimini and found several boxes containing 234 pounds of suspected marijuana. A 20-year-old man is assisting police with the investigation. The street value of the drugs is said to be somewhere around $234,000. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Executives of the Grand Bahama Cancer Society and the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group meeting with Minister for Grand Bahama Dr. Michael Darville. Executives outlining the way forward as they lobby for assistance in improving the quality of care for cancer patients on Grand Bahama. Society President Nurse Patricia Edgecombe says the number of Grand Bahamians seeking treatment for cancer appears to be growing, and the society continues to rely on the cancer hospice in the nation's capital.
In Nassau, we have a cancer caring center, and it houses 10 beds. And even last week, in visiting the cancer center, the 10 rooms were filled with persons from Grand Bahama. So in Grand Bahama, the fight for us is very great because we have a lot of persons in the cancer center, and that's just the ones that stay at the centers, not the ones that go to Nassau and have family. So the number would be greater.
Dr. Darville says the government will look at ways to assist the Cancer Society.
I always plead to the general population and to the public to support the Cancer Society in any which way, because with the incidence of cancer throughout the country, all of us in this room and throughout the country know a family member who have been affected by this deadly disease. So I am very concerned about the incidents on Grand Bahama, and so today I'm sure in our discussions we'll talk about what we are seeing and ways how government can improve the quality of health care that we deliver to the residents of Grand Bahama.
Well, men throughout the island are being challenged to take their rightful place within the home community and the church. The role of men will be the topic of discussion during a 2-day conference this weekend at the Final Hour Assembly on Mahogany Street under the theme, Adam's Mandate. Host Pastor Benjamin LaFleur.
The mandate was given to Adam to take the earth and dominate it. And so therefore we seem to have deviated from the plan of God, and so therefore I thought that it would be important not only do we deal with the mandate from a biblical perspective in the church, but from the global world system also. That's why I'm dealing with financial matters, financial planning, budgeting, business ownership, especially small business.
Now, Pastor Mark Smith, Rudy Sawyer, and Roger Rolla are the presenters for Saturday's session, which will run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bishop LaFleur says the conference climaxes on Sunday morning at 11 a.m.
Sunday, Dr. Swain, who has a Bible training school in Nassau, and he's coming to assist the church in terms of what the role is of the church in the community, impacting the different offices, the pastor, what his job is, elders, deacons, ministers, evangelists, outreach, and family matters, because the church is to cater to the whole family. And so therefore, I'm using the men who's actually supposed to take this responsibility and get rid of the Eve spirit and let Adam come alive. Because you know our society is predominantly headed in the family by women.
While the men's conference is free of charge and is open to the public, Bishop LaFleur is encouraging men to bring their wives as well. A local youth leader recently joined representatives from Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago in a leadership program in the United States. The conference focused on areas such as primary prevention, programs for at-risk youth, and efforts of schools, community-based organizations, and faith-based groups to intervene before early problems turn into gang involvement. Tonight, he shares his experience with Sabrina Brown.
Founder of Reach Out Youth Ministries, Dudley Said, says the 3-week international leadership program in the United States was life-changing. He's grateful to the U.S. Embassy, and he believes it was his dedication to the development of the youth of this nation that afforded him the opportunity.
What the U.S. Embassy did, they look around who deal with at-risk kids in the Bahamas, and they chose me and Carlos Reed out of Nassau because I think they said the impact that we were making, they wanted us to go and see how programs are in America.
The program took the youth leaders to 4 U.S. cities, including Washington, Utah, Iowa, and New Orleans. But Say talks about the initiatives that stood out most.
In Utah, they had a book club would deal with inmates. When an inmate is incarcerated, they join the book club in Utah. So when the kids when they get released, they'll have a support group for them when they get out, and that was also an eye-opener.
The youth leader says the U.S. tour also highlighted another vital issue.
What surprised me the most is while I was in Washington to see the same program that I'm running here in the Bahamas is running in Washington, and to see the way corporate, at least see the way the United States treat their organizations in Washington was surprising, because we do the same work here in the Bahamas, and it's hard to get some funding for organizations here on the island.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
In other news, coordinators of the Junior Achievement Program are singing the praises of local achievers. Earlier this month, the young business leaders held a food drive to collect food items for the less fortunate of the community. The food items were distributed to 3 charities on the island.
We are presenting food goods to the Red Cross, also the Lord's Kitchen, which operates from Christ the King, and we are presenting also to St. Stephen's Soup Kitchen out of 8 Mile Rock. These are organizations that continue to help deserving persons in the community. Of course, this drive is just one of many that we hope to do, because I'm sure there are other deserving organizations out there, and we just encourage the community to extend a hand to your brother, your sister in these times of need.
James believes the level of dedication displayed by the achievers prove that all is not lost when it comes to the youth of this nation.
We truly express our sincere appreciation out to those persons who supported the drive, and we ask that you continue to help those in need, because we must be our brother's keeper, and it's all a part of just developing our young people, teaching them to be good leaders, and of course excellent entrepreneurs. So we want to just extend a heartfelt thank you if you played any role in this food drive that we recently had. There are many other opportunities that's coming forth, and we're looking forward to letting you know where you can assist.
Well, there were a whole lot of storybook children today at the Freeport Primary School. The primary school kids, some dressed in costumes depicting their favorite book characters, and others were smartly dressed in their best PJs. As they participated in the special closing out ceremony of literacy, teachers also took a trip down memory lane, showing off the characters from storybooks like Old Mother Hubbard, Kids of the Baker's Man, and The Wicked Witch of Oz. Administrators say this is all about making learning fun.
Where students are dressed as storybook characters, and they are putting on items pertaining to all the various storybook characters, and stressing the importance of reading in particular. This week we were put aside as Literacy Week. And so all during the course of the week, we had various competitions where students were able to focus on reading and the importance of reading. So we had poster competitions, essay competition, bookmark competition, and a word wall competition, which is what we introduced the first time, where students have to identify as many words as possible on the walls where we have the words displayed.
Now, school principal Barbara Thompson says she's thrilled with the level of enthusiasm among the students and teachers, but she's also happy to note that the school is receiving good support from others as well.
I'm encouraged by the number of parents that I see out here today because on occasions like this we don't see too many of our parents, but it goes to show that they are also concerned and interested in what is happening with their children.
Stay with us, Ricardo Lightborn, as a check on sports when we return.
Everybody, welcome to Sports and Ricardo Light. One is what goes out to the guys at the Cabinet, Bolo, Henry, Lee, yep, and even Duncombe. You guys behave yourself on a Friday. The fourth leg of the big game, Wahoo Smackdown Fishing Tournament, was dubbed a huge success. And now the NFL is headed to Bimini. The big game Wahoo Smackdown was an angler's dream and fished by the pounds, and the lines were simply hot. Stevie S. was a fixture in the SmackDown through all four of them. He entertained those in SmackDown 4 as well. The award segment was a kicker for the anglers. The ladies also fished the Wahoo SmackDown and the awards to show. The ditch digger, captained by Manny Lagers, landed the talk of the tournament as well. Lingers, one of the local boats, showed that they can fish with the big boys and the third largest fish. The ditch digger came away with the second largest fish award in the SmackDown. The largest fish went to the Fishlers out of Miami, Florida, and Carlos Martinez is the skipper. The overall champion is the ditch digger, 121 points, and the check to show for it. Boy, let the trash talking begin. Big game will now get ready for April 24th. The NFL Hall of Famers will be coming in with their rods and reel to fish. The NFL Hall of Fame Celebrity Billfish Invitational will feature $250,000 in prize money at Big Game. Michael Weber is chomping at the bit. It's a one-of-a-kind tournament, and Big Game is ready.
April 24th to the 27th is our NFL Hall of Fame Billfish tournament. It's the first ever tournament that they've ever held like that. It took us a year to finally convince them that this is something that they should do because they've always done golf tournaments. These older football players, muscles hurt a little bit. The joints aren't so as easy as they used to be. So they've always done golf tournaments, and they came to our last tournament, our Wahoo Smackdown number 3 in November last year, and saw the camaraderie, saw everybody had a great time, and they said, yeah, we can do this with our football players. So what we're doing is it's a minimum of 22 boats in the tournament, and each boat's going to have its own NFL Hall of Famer on it, which will be the first ever time they've ever done that.
Bimini, April 24th to the 27th. Get ready for the NFL Legends Hall of Fame Celebrity Fishing Invitational. And the Franklin Miller Scott Forbes under 13 basketball jamboree is being played, folks, at the Jack Hayward Gymnasium. Igmara girls defeated Sister Mary Patricia Russell 15-13. Tabernacle boys 14, Sunline 11. Sister Mary Patricia boys turned around and defeated Igmara 18-10. And the Grandma Basketball Association did also get in some games. Reach Out Ministries over the Warriors for Life 69-55. Keena Russell 23 in the win. Ricardo Seville with 19, and also the GB Shipyard Cruisers with a 114-71 win over the Saturday Ballers. Amato Hepburn 39, Marvin Cool Cat Gray with 38, and the Cruisers Clayton Smiley Miller with 37 points, and also the Ballers looking pretty good as well. Let's go to Bimini for some basketball, as you had the Plumera Landscapers. They simply put away the Resorts World, Marlin 78-69. It was Kean Pritchard scoring a game-high 24 points, and the Marlin Stephen Burrows with some 20 points as well. And Bimini Sands over the Porgy Bay Tigers 55-40. Taven Roll and Gene Roll both with 11 points, and also the Tigers Theo Roll scored some 14 points in a losing cause. Well, the primary schools track and field championship was April 1st through the 4th. Get this, Sheena, April 1st through the 4th. Your son will run, and it'll be in honor of Mary Cooper and Lynn Clinton. The high school championship is simply memorable, folks, and it lingers on because especially the senior girls and boys 100 meter finals. Let's go back in time. The senior girls 100 meters was a prime example of track and field being hot. Tabernacle Lashanya Nemo had the gold in her hand, 11.89 seconds. St. Paul's Dativa Johnson was second, and Jack Hayward Kendall Saunders third. A special moment for the girls.
I didn't get a good start, but I finished my race strong, and I'm proud of myself.
Tell me about the whole meet. What did you do and how do you feel about the whole meet?
I feel great about the one because I came first in everything I do so far. And I came first in a while.
I feel positive about myself because last year wasn't a good year for me, but then I pray to God this whole year, and now I'm doing very well so far, but next year will be even better. I feel like I run good. I come out there and do better than I thought I was going to do.
The senior boys 100 meters featured the Falcons' Ken Russell. He ran 10.59 seconds. Janico Jones second and Marcus Linden third. Speed on the track. Man, it was awesome.
I just tried to get out the blocks as quick as I can and then execute the rest of my race.
What has been the difference in the way that you're running this year compared to other years?
I just been working on form and looking to get faster.
I feel that I did good. It was a competitive field. I just try and win out my drive phase and try and come up with the win. But second is just got to drain out of.
It was a good race and that I drive straight through. And after that I feel my groin. Then after that everything just started going fluidly.
Congratulations to our senior boys champions, and we'll see you at the high school nationals. All the kids at the track getting ready to make sure it happened. And don't forget Sunday, Spence Cooper Golf Tournament. We'll tell you about that when we come back.